feel good. I condensed 6 years of my life into 60 seconds. Hi, this is Stu Alderody, and this is Crypto in a Minute. So why did the SEC drop its appeal against Ripple? I think the real question is, why did they bring the case at all? The SEC has not only dropped its appeal against Ripple, they've now dropped every case against every crypto company in the United States. Why? Because the SEC has now admitted what we've always been saying, that you can't bring enforcement actions for violating the law without first explaining what the law is. And we never had clear laws, rules, and regulations regarding crypto in this country. So we're going to clean up the mess. We're going to get out of the courtroom. We're going to get back to running business. And we're going to now press forward, working with Congress to get smart crypto regulation in place that protects consumers, that protects the integrity of the market, that keeps bad actors out, and most importantly, allows the innovation to flourish.
Hey, what's going up, bull runners? Welcome back to the channel. Have you ever wondered who's really pulling the strings for the crypto market? For years, shadowy forces, governments, tech giants, and regulators have been quietly shaping the future of your investments. They've been watching, waiting, and controlling the game from the shadows. But today, something's changed. The veil is lifting, and the truth is spilling out faster than you can imagine. In March of 2025, the SEC dropped its massive case against Ripple. Why now? Apple, the tech titan, just greenlit crypto for its in-app purchases. Bitcoin's being called a national security issue by the CIA's deputy director, and top panels just declared Ethereum's dominance dead. And these aren't random headlines. They're signals of a seismic shift in crypto. And if you're not paying attention, you could miss the biggest wealth building opportunity of your lifetime. Here's the good news. You don't have to stay in the dark. And today we're breaking down these stories in plain English, showing you exactly what they mean for your portfolio and how to stay ahead for the curve. As you know, the crypto world is moving very fast, and you need to act now to protect your investments and seize the moment. Plus, we will be jumping over to X to find out all the breaking news that's happening in the financial world today. We will also be heading over to Forex Factory to find out all of the very important news that would affect the markets. And we will be heading over to check out the charts on TradingView for XRP at the very end of this video. If you're just here for the charting, feel free to fast forward to that part. And so much more for you in today's video. And if you're like most people where you don't have the opportunity to spend hours a day in the news like we do here and bring that to you in a condensed manner, make sure you subscribe right now. And if you're feeling bullish about this current bull run, let me know by commenting 777 down below. And to kick the video off, heading over to X, first stop we're going to head over to is the BULLRUNNERS HQ on X.com. We are giving away $100 XRP every week. Make sure you go over there and check this out. Last week's winner was Trial by Fire 4. If you want to win this week, all you have to do is like this post, comment XRP down below, and sign up for Blowfin using our affiliate link. You show more and it'll give you all of the information here. Partner Blowfin/BullRunners. You also get a 10% sign up bonus, which is really exciting. Winners will be announced in our daily email newsletter. That will be actually announced on Sunday. So all you need to do is click the link below to subscribe, and you get instant access to our free ebook as well that shares the 23 secrets to become a crypto millionaire. So we're super excited about giving this money away, plus the free ebook away. So go sign up right now and get your chance to win $100 in free XRP. So first up, let's take a look at the overall health of the crypto market. We are still above 3 trillion, holding strong. So 3 trillion.02 on only 70 billion volume. So, we've been creeping up to the upside. We are above that $3 trillion mark, which is significant in the confidence behind the market. It also signifies we are still continuing to head up. We have created new market structure. This is an actual new higher high for the total crypto market cap, which is fantastic. Fear and Greed Index is creeping up a tiny bit more at 56. Yesterday was a 55. Last week was a 53. Altcoin Season Index sitting at 19 out of 100. So it is still Bitcoin season. Bitcoin dominance currently coming in at 63.8%. So people tend to want to be in Bitcoin right now. No one's rotating their money into altcoins just yet. Our latest Bitcoin ETF tracker, latest report comes from April 30th, $422 million to the upside. So we've continued this surge to the upside in volume. Only one day they took a break, April 29th, 56 million to the downside. But when we take a look and zoom out, not on the 30-day, but we take a look here on the yearly, you can see massive volume last week, obvious, second highest week of volume ever for ETF inflows of 3 billion and 33 million. Actually, that's a pretty Illuminati number there for you, for all those conspiratorial people out there. And then we also have this week as well, we're currently chilling at a $1.1 billion. So back-to-back billion-dollar weeks of inflows into the ETF markers. Taking a look at the top 5 cryptos by total market cap, of course, Bitcoin number 1 at $1.9 trillion. Ethereum coming in at number 2 at $222 billion. Tether number 3 that just announced that they made $1 billion worth of income in Q1. They are currently sitting at $149 billion market cap. XRP number 4 at $129 billion. Ready to take over that number 3 spot. It's trying to get up there again. Right here, we got BNB sitting at $84 billion at number 5. And we'll go ahead and throw in Solana here at number 6, $76 billion total market cap. Now, jumping into the news over here on X, Ripple just launched this video, as you saw in the intro here. And the newest crypto in a minute, Ripple's chief legal officer, Stuart Alderoty. I thought it was Alderoty, but he said Alderoty. But he explains why the SEC dropped its appeal against Ripple in March of 2025 and where the US is going with smart crypto regulation on the horizon. The main things he's pointing out right now are protecting consumers like you and me, safeguarding the markets, stopping bad actors, and of course, supporting innovations. Going forward for Ripple, and amazing things happening this year for XRP as well. Now, as you know, there's been a lot of news coming out about Ripple and its new potential purchase of Circle, the stablecoin USDC. Well, there's been actually more and more news coming out about stablecoins in general. Now, I know you can't put your money in there and hope they go up and make a ton of money. However, they are so crucial to the crypto markets. It helps people get in and out of trades, bridging to different networks and so on. So, latest here, for another update on a stablecoin, Tether CEO defends skipping the MiCA, calling EU stablecoin rules very dangerous. And if you're not familiar, the European Union just passed its new laws and it just went into effect. It's the MiCA, and basically it's extreme regulation against money in Europe. And Ardonio says the European Central Bank is more interested in pushing the digital euro to control people and how they spend their money. So at first, it was really interesting because people have been trashing on Tether for so long. If you remember, BitBoy Crypto went to the headquarters in the Bahamas and it was this tiny little office and so on. People say that there's not actually any funds backing up the one-to-one backing of Tether, blah, 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 blah. But you know what? This is a big step. This is really good for him calling out the overstep of the MiCA rules. Now, they also, as far as Tether goes, they do not have the standards to be sufficiently under regulation in the United States either. They're working on that. They're actually looking to launch a new opportunity here in the United States. We covered that yesterday. But Tether is standing up against the EU and the fascism that's going on over there, trying to take over total control of people's money. Justin, this is a big deal too. 2 IRS crypto directors stepped down after accepting Doge resignation offer. So if you don't remember, Doge was going through to a bunch of different agencies and offering them an opportunity to leave with 6 or 9 months worth of their salary going forward as long as they left and they didn't try to come back. Well, 2 of the IRS crypto directors, not just employees there, people that were putting handcuffs on crypto investors and really striking them down and going after them and overly auditing them. Well, they are stepping down now after accepting their resignation officer. They're taking the money and running. And big news right now, Apple has approved crypto for in-app purchases in the App Store. And this is an insane win for crypto. So everything just changed because you have to understand how many people, how many users are on the Apple ecosystem and are using apps. If you've ever gone in to pay for something inside of an app, you always have to use Apple Pay or PayPal, or you have to lock down with one of your credit or debit cards inside of there. Well, now they're going to be unleashing the opportunity to pay with crypto. Now, as you guys saw yesterday, we've already talked about a little bit in this video as well, where Ripple is trying to buy Circle. They did offer $5 billion and it was turned down. Now, there are a bunch of rumors going around that Ripple has increased its bid for Circle. It's not confirmed yet. Some people are saying 20 million. Some people are saying other prices. A realistic number that a lot of people are starting to talk about could be $9 million. Some people out there are getting really conspiratorial and talk about it should be 589. So $5.89 billion. So $5,890,000,000 for the IPO. But this was a great follow-up to this information about the missed opportunity yesterday where it got turned down. But John Deaton, someone who has some really close ties to the Ripple team, he talked about why the valuation was spot on, with the fact that Ripple offered $4 billion and it got turned down, potentially $5 billion. But take a look at this. So Circle filed its S1 with the SEC on April 1st, 2025. And if you're not aware, Circle USDC is planning on going public. They're going to do an IPO. That's why Ripple's trying to swoop it up before that happens, planning to list on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker CRCL with JP Morgan Chase and Citigroup as the lead underwriters. The IPO is expected this summer. Circle is aiming for a valuation between $4 and $5 billion for the IPO, hence the $5 billion offer by Ripple. Now, what we need to remember is that Circle's valuation being $4 or $5 billion is significantly lower than the $9 billion valuation that it targeted during its failed SPAC deal in 2022. So if you're not familiar, actually Circle tried to do something similar to going public, and they were going to go with a SPAC opportunity here. And their valuation that they self-valuated themselves at was $9 billion, and it did not actually go through at that time. Circle's rejection of the $5 billion offer suggests that Circle believes its market value, particularly post-IPO, because that's when public will jump in and start dumping a whole bunch of money, and they're going to hope that it goes to the moon, just like most IPOs do, and then they automatically drop from there. But it's likely to exceed the $5 billion and possibly approaching or surpassing that $9 billion from its original valuation that they thought it was worth in 2022, 3 years ago. And they've been making more money going forward. So when you add in the regulatory 180, which we've witnessed with this administration, super favorable to crypto in general, coupled with the Stable Genius Act, which is coming out, which is the Stablecoin Act that's coming out, that will likely pass, a $10 billion deal is not crazy. So will Ripple come back and offer $20 billion though? It doesn't seem right to do so. In fact, it would be a horrific offer, in my personal opinion. As an XRP holder, I do personally own XRP, and I know some of you guys do out there. None of this is financial advice, so don't buy or sell, because we're talking about an opportunity on this channel. But what I'm telling you is if they were to take their XRP storage, some of their escrow or some of their extra money that Ripple holds a lot of XRP, as we know, if they were to take that money or take that XRP and sell it, even if it's on the OTC market behind the scenes. In fact, I would hate it even more if they did. I'd prefer them to sell it on market so it spikes the price of XRP to the upside. But in order for them to acquire $10 billion, $20 billion for this offer to buy Circle, they need to find that cash. Are they buying it in cash? Are they going to borrow the money from someone? No one's really talked about that part of it. And if they're selling XRP to buy another company, I am going to be pretty upset. Now, cool, but the reason being is now we have to put off our potential gains, not to 2026, not to 2027. I mean, 2020 or 2030, 2035 or something before they can recoup all of that money. In my personal opinion, if they were to go and overspend $20 billion on Circle, it is not worth it. Why not put that money? If you've got all this billions of dollars, why not just mint more RLUSD and try to overtake the Circle's valuation. So crazy stuff going on over there. It is exciting. I hope that they do buy it, but they've got to buy it at a deal. But Garlinghouse better get his negotiation pants on and do something right. Now, also, huge deal here. So as you guys know, I have been helping you guys along with following along on the traditional finance news as well. So I wanted to show you what came out today. So first and foremost, the average hourly earnings month over month, it was forecasted to be at 0.3%. It came in at 0.2%. So it's a red number. So it is bad for the United States dollar. However, in a huge positive scenario that just happened, the non-farm employment change came out and it was projected at 138,000, but it beat by 39,000. 39, that's a huge beat right here. And let me tell you a little bit more about the non-farm employment change so you have an understanding. So first and foremost, actual greater than the forecast is good for the currency, meaning the United States dollar. Now, what is it though? This is the vital economic data released shortly after the month ends. The combination of importance and earliness makes it hefty for market impact because it's the kick off the new month. Now that we're in May, this number comes out and it's very positive for us right now. But why are traders care? Well, job creation is an important leading indicator of consumer spending, which accounts for a majority of overall economic activity. So this means that non-farm employment has changed to the upside. That means more jobs are being created. Trump continues to talk about they're creating more jobs, and everyone on the news continues to say, oh, the economy is crashing, and no. So this is a great indicator to see that Trump is right in this information. They are creating more jobs that are non-farm jobs. So when we head over to X and check out this clip right here,
436,000 increase in the number of people who are employed. So this is an amazing report. The number of people, the labor force participation rate rose. So this is a really strong number. I wanted to mention one other quick thing. You know, about 2 weeks ago, every headline, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Washington Post, was, oh, the stock market is crashing. And since then, the market has been up, what, like 2,800 points.
Yeah,
So,
well, you don't see that.
by the way, I don't see headlines about
yeah,
that.
That was the
So
point, that was the point that Scott
think
Bessent made. Yeah, Scott Bessent made the same point yesterday. That, you know,
exactly, he made that point. But
hey, bull runners, are you feeling FOMO about this bull run without the right financial support? We're here to change that. We're not just about funding, we're about growing your business together. Whether you're investing in crypto, kicking off a new startup, managing your existing business, or looking to expand, we have personalized funding that meets your exact needs. Imagine starting your business or getting capital to invest $100,000 to $250,000 at 0% interest. That's not a dream, it's what we do. We've helped countless entrepreneurs like you with 0% interest funding without needing personal funds, income verification, or collateral. With just a 680 credit score, you qualify. We understand that your business can't wait, so take advantage of our quick funding approach. We look beyond the credit score with inclusive approval process that sees the big picture of your business or investment potential. Our flexible repayments are tailored to match your business cycles, ensuring you can manage repayments without strain. With access to our extensive lending network of over 5,000 options, we're committed to finding the perfect match for your business or investing needs. Plus, you'll have our dedicated team by your side, guiding you through every step of the funding journey. Whether it's buying crypto, hiring new employees, or launching a new product, we're committed to your success. Click the link to connect with our expert advisors and secure your business's future now. So as we see here, Stephen Moore on the jobs beating Wall Street expectations, 436,000 increase in number of people who are employed. This is an amazing jobs report. The labor force participation rate rose, so this is a really strong number. Also in huge news coming out, Michael Saylor's strategy, they're looking to raise $84 billion more to purchase Bitcoin. They are on a tear with that. Tether has announced that they brought in $1 billion of profit in Q1. So stablecoins make a ton of money. And that brings me to the post here. FYI, Circle IPO valuation is $5 billion, which is a valuation that Ripple is looking at when they made the acquisition offer. There's no way Ripple would offer $20 billion for Circle. PS, I see a lot of people who are saying $5 billion is low offer since Circle holds $60 billion in collateral for stablecoins that it issues. However, that collateral simply backs the coin Circle issues. It does not own that collateral. Circle generates its revenue from the interest on that collateral, which is used to calculate the $5 billion valuation. Taking a look at our crypto calendar for May of 2025, today being Friday the 2nd, U.S. unemployment rate did come out and non-farm payrolls came out. As you guys know, we've already talked about that. Great numbers there for the non-farm payroll. Things to watch out for in crypto: Binance, Alpaca, PDA, Vibe, Wing, Spots, delisting. So these are no longer going to be available on Binance. Pendle's doing a fee structure update. ENA will be doing a $14.9 million unlock, and Sui's base camp will be held yesterday and today. So that is coming to an end. And then that leads us into next week, which will get you updated on. There's some pretty massive crypto news starting on Monday the 5th. Hype will be having a new fee or staking tier system. Rune, TCY, TGE, token generation event. SHM will have a token generation event. IOTA, new mainnet. Cause will have the Crescendo hard fork, and CFX will do a burn proposal. So Longitude panel comes out and says that Ethereum's era of crypto dominance is over. The argument is that Ethereum's high gas fees, competition from faster blockchains like Solana, and Bitcoin's growing institutional appeal are eating into its market share. Meanwhile, XRP has outperformed Ethereum in trading activity for 6 straight months, a historic first. And the reason that this is important is Ethereum's been the king of smart contracts in DeFi, but if its dominance is slipping, it could shake up the market. Altcoins like Solana, Cardano, or even XRP could gain ground, offering new investment opportunities. For Ethereum holders, this doesn't mean sell everything. ETH is still a massive ecosystem, but it's a wake-up call for diversity. Keep an eye on layer 2 solution like Arbitrum or Optimism, which could definitely help Ethereum fight back. When you take a look at the total value lock distribution among blockchains, Ethereum is still the super powerhouse as far as 51%. It's just the actual amount of usage has dropped significantly. Solana has overtaken Ethereum on most on-chain metrics: active addresses, transaction volume, and even gas fees. Ethereum still leads just on total value locked and stablecoin issuance. So how do you feel about Ethereum? Let me know down in the comment section. Are you still a big believer in Ethereum? Have you switched to Sui? Have you switched over to Solana? Where are you doing your DeFi? Bitcoin is a matter of national security, according to Deputy CIA Director Michael Ellis. He recently dropped a bombshell on a podcast with Anthony Pompliano, saying that Bitcoin is now a national security issue. The CIA is using Bitcoin in its operations, and Ellis said working with crypto is critical for U.S. interests. And this comes as President Trump pushes for a U.S. Bitcoin strategic reserve, signaling government backing without a doubt. But why is this important? Well, when the CIA calls Bitcoin a national security matter, it's a sign that government are taking crypto seriously, and not as a threat, but as a tool. And this could lead to more institutional adoption, like Bitcoin ETFs, or even countries stockpiling Bitcoin, which would likely push prices significantly higher. For investors, this is a reminder that Bitcoin's not just a speculative asset, it's becoming a geopolitical player. And if you're not holding Bitcoin, now might be the time to consider a small allocation, but always do your own research. So if you're here and you've been watching the channel and you've been seeing these articles I continue to go over, we have huge amounts of companies that are adopting Bitcoin. We have countries adopting Bitcoin. We have agencies adopting Bitcoin. We have so much Bitcoin adoption and crypto coming along with it. A lot of XRP and Solana and other layer 1 projects that are being adopted as well. You know, back in the day, people used to say, oh, crypto's going to take over the whole entire financial markets. And people thought that that was a joke. But the reality is we are definitely starting to transition over. Now, the switch has not been flipped. The switch will need to be flipped. And it's going to potentially be an instant flip of the switch, right? When they just want to turn on the new blockchain financial system. So let's head over to XRP in the charts and take a look at what we've been talking about now for a couple of days. Was the fact that our short-term trend cycle here, the shaft trend cycle, had been riding at the 100 level, needing a reset back down to 0. It goes from 0 to 100 and it continues to cycle up and down within the waves. Now, sometimes it cuts a little early and sometimes it cuts a little short. But typically, when you get a nice full reset all the way down and then all the way up, you get the better moves. Now, when we're taking a look at the long-term momentum wave, we want it to be green, meaning it's bullish. Once it crosses over the zero line of our wolf pack, the settings that we are using, it indicates a bullish symptom signal right here, right? So as you can see, we had a very significant move. And then even though we are heading down on the short term, as you can see that happened here, we're pretty much just consolidating, gently dropping to the downside. That's because we're riding green. The opposite is true. If we're sitting in the red like we were here after we dropped below the zero line February 4th, we were bearish. So every time this red line started to drop, it gave us a pretty significant drop. So for example, right here, and then it dropped all the way to here. Then it rose up nicely, and then it came over to about here, and then the drop. And then it rose up, and then the drop, right? All while red. Well, the great thing is our long-term bullish momentum has come back. We are now officially above the zero line. We are bullish momentum here, which is very positive. The only thing that I don't like is we do have a hidden bearish divergence that just flashed here. And last time that flashed was also here before a drop, and then also here before a significant drop. But when those two flashed, we were in the red, indicating more bearish. And now we're in the green, so we are bullish. And this is a big deal. This does matter. In fact, when we take a look at Bitcoin, we can see it made a super push ever being broke through. So once it broke through here, which was on this day, April 20th, on 420, it officially broke above the zero line. And from that level, it went from 85,000 up to 98,000. So if we take a look here, we've gone up 16% since we broke over that. Now, if you got in super ballsy and you got in early when the short-term momentum was starting to make its ride up, then, that would be even a more significant move there. But there wasn't much confirmation. That was a 30% move from here all the way up. But this was a better confirmation. So once this happened and we're riding positive here, it's looking strong. But most importantly, the fact that we're riding bullish is a very, very big deal. Because we've been riding bearish ever since February 4th here as well, when we were trading at $100,000. And then we lost the $100,000 mark, came and consolidated a little bit, and then continued its drop, all while in the bearish territory. So signs are looking good, right? We're bullish on Bitcoin. Short-term momentum still has moves to go, and this is on the daily. Now, let me show you something really exciting here, because when we look at the weekly charts, we've been bullish, okay? This is a much larger time scale. So you can see Bitcoin has been bullish on the long term since March 6th of 2023. So it broke up right here and it's been riding this whole ride. So basically, if we would have gotten in on the weekly, on the break of the weekly indicator there and rode it up, even just to where we are now, if we didn't sell the tippity top, it's up 400% since the break on the weekly charts. Let's take a look at XRP. XRP on the weekly charts, it broke right here the week of August 12th. And then it obviously made its run. It consolidated for quite some time before it actually made the run. But that doesn't matter. What I want to show you guys right now is the fact on Bitcoin, we are bullish weekly. It is starting to crank to the upside here, which is very good. But this right here, which is what's exciting. So we had reset the weekly trend cycle. That's what was taking so long, came down here, did all this BS, right? It was a pretty gnarly drop, but it reset to zero. Now it's making its move back to the upside. So let's take a look what happened last time the shaft trend cycle reset to zero, which was here, had a small pump, then a pullback, and then it made its actual move. And so from this point forward, September 9th, as you can see, it started to have its hook, right? So it started hooking just like it just started hooking right here. So Bitcoin started its hook right here, the week of September 16th, and it made its ride this whole time, right? The short-term trend cycle making its move all the way up to here. In fact, the next time when it first initiated its move to the downside was here, the week of December 6th. So we would have actually lost, right? Well, first off, it hit this high. It was an all-time high at that time. Then it came back down. So at that point, we could have exited the trade, waited for this to reset back to zero, which finished doing its exhaustion move here. And now it's finally making its way back to the upside. And since it's making its move, it still has move all the way up to 100, which there's room there for another week or two. But on top of that, it could also ride and relax at the 100 level. So let's take a look here. This is the candle that it's indicating that it started making its move. Where it turned green was this candle right here. And it was a small weekly candle 2 weeks ago. So this little tiny baby stub of a candle was the first initiation of, okay, we're going bullish. The next week was really bullish. This week already it's bullish. We have 2 days left. Now, Bitcoin does need to break out of this level right here at 99,500, in my personal opinion. Otherwise, we could be in a potential trap. And that is also based off of Fibonacci. If we pull it from this high to the swing low, you can see right here we have a 786 Fibonacci that it could very easily get into that zone. And then, but right now though, looking bullish, we could just ride this out. We got this riding up, but this is the most important thing. We've got room to run all the way up to the 100 level. And then if it wants to sit there for a week or two, we could see that big push right now. It's happening on Bitcoin. But let's take a look on XRP. Well, interesting news. We need to have a green candle this week. It's 2 days and 0 hours left. The new candle just started. We really need a green candle and a break. And so last week, we did officially break above our weekly spider line here, which is a trend line. And this trend line comes from January 22nd, 2018. We did officially break above that, okay? Now, this weekly candle was not a continuation candle through that, unfortunately, yet. We need that to turn around. So in the next 2 days, we need momentum to start rocking to the upside. If we break there, we'll start to see the turn. Now, here's the exciting news for those of you who have not seen it. Last time the shaft trend cycle reset and we were green bullish here, right here, that's when we started our run to the upside when XRP was 53 cents, made its run, and it continued climbing all the way through until the new all-time high. That's why I'm excited about potential with what Bitcoin or XRP is doing. If we look on the daily chart, it needed a reset. That's what we said in the very beginning of the video. Right now, we are riding bullish green. We've reset. We're just accumulating sideways. We haven't had a severe drop. So all the signs there are pointing to still strength. We're down 10%. But right here, if we can break above this level and this turns around on the daily, it's going to also then turn around on the weekly, and we're going to see a massive move to the upside. Now, that's me being extremely bullish. However, if for some reason we lose that, as you can see, we're losing some steam here. We lose this area and we start to fall. If we don't break $2.24, 25 cents, we could come back to $2.05 area. If we lose that, we're back to $1.90. And if we lose that, there is a reality if we could even return all the way back down to this trend line, which gets us to $1.50.
Hey, bull runners, check this out. If you want to learn how to find the next 10x, 50x, or even 100x altcoin in this video, listen to this. Our research team posted GOAT on the 13th of October of 2024 when it was right at a penny, and since then it rallied to over $1 and is currently still up over 5,000%. That's like turning $1,000 into over $50,000. Our team called Pendle at only a $16 million market cap, or 16 cents, back on February 18th of 2023, all the way back here, and since then it's rallied up over 4,000%. That's a 40x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $40,000. Our team also called BitTensor Tau September 15th, 2022, before the token was ever even launched. And since then, Tau has rallied over 2,000%. That's a 20x. Our team even said Solana is most likely to be one of the easiest trades next year, and this was posted December 29th, 2022, on the day that Solana bottomed out at around $8. And since then, Solana looks like it's up over 2,500%. That's a 25x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $25,000. And the bull run is just getting started. The list goes on and on and on. Our team called Sui, Ondo, and even some of the biggest cult-based meme coins like MOG back in July 20th of 2023, the day that MOG launched. So if you want to learn how our team is finding these altcoins before they explode, we just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100+ expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University. Just go through the link in the description below, get in right now, watch the 26-minute video covering everything that Altcoin Pro University offers.